Hello everyone and welcome to another early sneak peek video. Well, actually it's kind of like a release video. Today we are going to be looking at the turbo. Now this is it. This is the tank that is going to be in the next battle pass, which is launching just now actually. And it basically looks like Wargaming trying to dress up another tank for Halloween that is meant to look like the Dracula, only it's summer and it doesn't look like the Dracula and it certainly doesn't drive like it. So basically this tank is called the Turbo and it actually feels really sluggish to drive. So the name just doesn't seem to be very apt at all. I mean, I don't mind the tank, it's T6, so it's basically seal clubbing when you drive it and just basically fun and everything. And the biggest part of playing it this year is that you will get loads of potatoes that will play like this and then they get blown up, and that's basically how you win games. Now I've got a bunch of games lined up for you, basically just to show how generally this tank behaves and everything, and just looking at it and everything. And basically it's not like there's anything really wrong with this tank. There's just nothing really right with this tank either. It's kind of like, it's just a T6 tank. If you're decent at the game, you will be decent in this, but there's nothing really going for this tank. Basically what they did is just modified a Strijdwagen 74, which is the European Tier 6 medium tank. And again, like I said, it's not like bad, but it's just got nothing special for it. And for me, it really looks like a failed Halloween costume that didn't work out. I mean, this tank can have some troll bounces. You see that in one of the other replays, but like I said, the gun is pretty troll, which does not really help. Could also be my game derping on me a little bit and RNG just not being with me. But with the games that I've had, it's kind of like consistent troll, and I just feel like the shell velocity for some reason is just like really low. And to be fair, I haven't played the Strijdwagen 74 to compare it, so I'm not actually sure if that has that is equally as bad. But overall, it's just eh. And that for me is like the best word to describe this tank. Like, I've sort of like fast forwarded now this little bit in the beginning, and this is the only way that it actually feels like a turbo, is when you fast forward video. And that's saying something as well, because it is a cute little tank and it's looking like the Dracula, only it's definitely not the Dracula. And then you drive places and you can get some bounces and basically do decent damage and everything, but that's mainly just because you're at tier 6. It's not like this tank is really good. But yeah, that's basically, I'm gonna be repeating myself with that a lot, to be fair. But basically it's just a Strijdwagen 74 with minor differences, and this is again one of those battle pass tanks that I will get it mainly because I'm a collector and I want to have all the tanks. But if I were to look at the tank itself, I would honestly just not really go for it. So I have to be honest there. That being said, as usual, the battle pass is by far the most value you get for your money, because you get the gold, you get the free XP, you get credits, you get camos, boosters, avatars, and the whole lot basically. And for a very small price, so that's actually, it's not bad. That show I actually bounced as well. It's just constantly a little bit of troll stuff there. But this is the reason that I use this game, because it's not like really a good game or anything, but I'm basically just chasing behind and trying to get places where I can get shots in. This tank is called the Turbo and it's got anything but a turbo. Now, if we compare the Turbo to a Strijdwagen 74, like with most Battle Pass tanks, it's basically a Strijdwagen 74 with minor differences. They both have 2k DPM, they both have a penetration of 148, both have an alpha of 160, a rate of fire of 12.5 rounds per minute, a reload of 4.8 seconds, a caliber of 75 and a shell velocity of 925. As I said, that feels really sluggish, but like, yeah, as I see right now, that's basically as sluggish on the tech tree version of this tank. The aim time, however, is where things start to get different, because the Turbo has an aim time of 1.9 seconds, whereas the Strijdwagen 74 has one of 1.72. The dispersion on the Turbo is 0.335 and it's 0.326 on the Strijdwagen, so that's also slightly better on the tech tree version of the tank. Now, they both have 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation. The aiming arc is 180 degrees. The speed is the same, 50 kilometers forwards, 20 backwards. The engine power on the turbo is actually 495, where it's 462 on the Streetwagen. And the power to weight ratio is 19.26 on the turbo and 17.97 on the Streetwagen 74. Which just kind of makes it even worse, because this tank feels so sluggish to drive for a tank that is called turbo. And it's actually faster than its factory counterparts, so that's saying something in my opinion. The traverse is worse on the turbo. And basically that's it. Like I said, it is always basically a tech tree tank with minor differences. But in this case, I feel like this tank doesn't really work this way. Well, no, that's actually wrong. Because it does work. Because it's tier 6. And you need plenty of potatoes at tier 6 and tier 5. I've actually not had a battle yet where I was meeting tier 7. And I have a feeling that this tank is going to be absolutely obliterated when it meets tier 7. Because it just can't handle itself very well. And that's the same, to be fair, with the Streetwagen 74. Because that basically faces the same issues. But basically you only drive that to grind. I don't think I know anyone that drives the Streetwagen 74 just because they want to. And like I said, the battle passes, I pounced on the guy's bum, seriously. But the battle passes, they're good value. You get the camo, the boosters, the certificates, not to forget those. You get gold, free XP, credits and all of that. So money wise, they're pretty much always worth it. But if you're purely looking at the tank, and that is what I'm trying to do here, this is where the shell velocity basically kicked my bum. I could have aimed a bit better probably and everything, but it's just like, it's done that constantly. This is the battle that I chose to show mainly because it shows how troll the gun is. The tank can be troll as well, because in the beginning of this battle I bounced quite a few shots and everything. And like I said, it's not like a horrible tank. I mean, it is tier 6. You will be able to defend yourself and carry and all of that because it's tier 6. But tank-wise, it's just meh. That doesn't mean, however, that I didn't enjoy this tank at all. I mean, I sound really negative, but that's also because I think that this tank pretty much deserves that. But I'm not like all negative. Like I said, the battle passes are really good value, really good things for your buck basically, and in that regard I will never regret buying a battle pass. But tank wise, basically the first battle pass tanks just seemed more fun, and I'm not asking for Wargaming to release more OP tanks in the game, because that would just make things way worse. But the minor differences here, I mean, I think I would prefer to drive the normal Streetwagen over this, and that's saying something as well. And it's mostly to do with the aim time, the dispersion. I have a feeling that the Streetwagen 74 will actually be less troll to shoot with than this tank, and that is also saying something. Look, this was just perfect RNG, hitting him exactly in the one bit of his face that I couldn't pen. But it's constantly stuff like that, though. I mean, like I said, it's tier 6. You will manage to basically circle up your way through this tank and everything. And it does look like a Halloween dressed up tank trying to be a Dracula, but not getting away with it, because it's really not a Dracula. And for me, it's basically the name of this tank raised expectations with me. I had high expectations, and people were already talking about this being a sort of Hellcat with the skin and everything. The Hellcat drives a lot more pleasant than this tank does. So yeah, there is that part as well. The name just doesn't fit it. This does not feel like a turbo. When I saw it originally on the trailer that I got on the sneak peek for 8.0, I had actually hoped that this was like a Battle Pass version of a little AMX. Because that would be turbo. And this really is not turbo. And I think that's probably the reason why I'm the most negative about this Battle Pass tank that I have been about the others. And the others haven't been like epic either, but like most of them were Okay, they weren't OP. They're not meant to be OP. I mean, they're battle pass tanks, but they were a lot better than this. And I think, like I said, that's mostly because this definitely doesn't live up to its name, and that's just it's sad. And like I said, the gun is troll to shoot with, and I generally don't enjoy that. I like accuracy, like fully aim shots. I mean, he's turning and everything, but there's just shot after shot after shot like that. And that could also be a game thing, because I have a feeling the game has been very, very trolled lately. And at the same time, I have a shot that isn't like aimed at all while on the move, and that pen side, I don't know. But yeah, the tank looks kind of cute. It's a field dress up of a Dracula in tier 6 on the Streetwagon 74. It looks cute. It will perform okay. And that has to do with the fact that it's a tier 6 tank, so you will mostly be like, not like seal clubbing, but pretty much seal clubbing. And that is what will give this tank its strengths, really. It's not the tank itself, it's more like getting away with driving this tank because of the tier that it's in. So that is my pretty honest, brutal, negative review of this tank. It's okay, it looks cute, it's nothing special. Battle Pass, however, is generally always still worth it, but you will have to decide for yourself whether or not you want to buy it. That is all for now, however, and I will see you guys next time again. Bye bye.